Nnamdi Kanu is still being held today in isolation. He's not allowed to practice his Jewish religion. He's not allowed to interact with other cellmates. In fact, when he greets some detainees, those detainees are quarantined off in some more dangerous gulags as punishment for exchanging greetings with Nnamdi Kanu. So, he's there being tortured, dying by installments, apart from the ear surgery we are now requesting for. Dying, mentally tortured, physically tortured, spiritually tortured, psychologically tortured, psychically tortured. His humanity being degraded on a daily basis by a federal government that ought to protect its citizens. What has Nnamdi Kanu done wrong? Nothing. No court has convicted him of doing anything wrong. All he has done is to say, you must give the Indigbos, his own Igbo people, a space in Nigeria like other Nigerians. Don't marginalize them. Don't see them as a mere speck or a mere dot in the larger cycle of Nigeria. But however, if you will not allow them this respect, this dignity that you accord to other 373 out of 374 ethnic groups in Nigeria, then let them go on their own to found their own Republic of Biafra. We call it self-determination. Self-determination is giving legal imprimatur by all international instruments. All international says you can have self-determination. And that was how IPOB was born in 2012 as a non-violent organization. We saw them on the streets of Aba, of Onitsha, of Enugu, of Owerri, and other southeast states marching on the streets, carrying cudgels, clubs, wearing beret, blowing whistle. We are for Republic of Biafra. They did not do anything that was dangerous or that was treasonable or that could harm the country as an entity. So, but the federal government found it using the army, they could quickly form Operation Python Dance. Operation Python Dance, which has not danced against Boko Haramis, which has not danced against armed bandits, which has not danced against kidnappers that have since been on the surge, but they could go to attack this young man in his hometown, and thank God he's alive today. If he were not alive, we wouldn't even be here discussing this matter. So the federal government, the DSS, they are wrong, and they are wrong. And today, the court has had us asking for an order of mandamus, compelling the SSS to provide his medical records. If you have nothing to hide, what harm does it bring to you to provide Nnamdi Kanu's medical records for us, his lawyers, to see? We are also asking for an order of mandamus that he should be allowed to see his personal physician, as ordered by this same court on the 21st of October, 2021. What has he asked for? That we hurt the federal government. How can you be the person, the agency that arrested, forcibly renditioned him back from Kenya to Nigeria? You are the same agency detaining him. You are the same agency that investigated him. You are the same agency prosecuting him. You are the same agency again detaining him. You are the same agency opposing his bail for application. You are the same agency opposing his application to be transferred, at least from your gulag to the Kuje Correctional Center, which is a place meant for people who have been granted bail, as was his case. So they have become not just the judge and the prosecutor, they are also the arrestor, the detainer, the prosecutor, the investigator, the judge. And And you cannot run a country like that. SSS, listen, and listen good. Abide by the order of the Court of Appeal made on the 13th of October 2021. Let Nnamdi Kanu go. Release him. Let my people go. Moses told the Egyptians, let my people go. They will not hear. He was with his brother Aaron. Am I right? They will not hear. And Pharaoh, the Egyptian emperor, brought magicians. Anything that Moses conjured, they will conjure to show their power, the power of man. But it was God in action. Go and read Exodus 8:19. The finger of God. When the camp of Moses conjured gnat, little lice in the head, those small insects in the head. When they conjured them, the Pharaoh Egyptian magicians tried to also conjure the same gnat, the same lice. They could not. And that was the smallest of all the feats. They went back to Pharaoh and said, this is the finger of God. Let these people go. But Pharaoh was already deafened. He will not hear of it. When the Israelites were going, God parted the Red Sea for them to go through. And then the Pharaoh army with chariots and charioteers, they came steaming, pursuing the Israelites. And God closed the Red Sea for them. And they drowned. This is a caveat to the federal government. Don't let this Nnamdi Kanu drown us as a people. We do not need it. It is an avoidable happenstance. Let the federal government, let the SSS release Nnamdi Kanu today. And I believe that by the grace of God, the court will do the needful. We grant our application for an order of mandamus. And they had tried to raise funny preliminary objection that the case is like another one decided by the Honorable Justice Taiwo who has now retired. We have been able to demonstrate and show that the two cases are different. In that case before Justice Taiwo, there were three parties. In the present case before this court, there are only two parties. The case before Justice Taiwo was the enforcement of fundamental human rights. The case before Justice Nyako here is for an order of judicial review to grant an order of mandamus. We showed thirdly, the case before Justice Taiwo had 11 reliefs. 11 reliefs. 6 declarations and 5 orders. The case before this court, where we are here, is just 2 orders. An order to grant him access to mandamus, to have access to his doctor and his medical records, and further order. That's just all. So we've been able to show that both the parties, the reliefs, the subject matter, and the goal are different. And then in such a case, the doctrine of estope, perem judicata, cannot apply. We believe that the God of that same God of Israel, that same God of Daniel, that he delivered from the den of lions, that same God of Paul and Silas in Acts of the Apostles, chapter 16, that same God of Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, that same God of Lazarus, that Jesus Christ woke up 4 days after he had died, and his flesh was already decaying and stinking. That same God of Noah and the ark, that same God of Jonah that was in the belly of the fish, that same God of Jesus Christ that died and resurrected the third day, that same God is alive and well. He slumbereth not, and he does not allow injustice to be perpetrated unremedied. By the grace of God, Nnamdi Kanu will get justice through the courts. If the federal government does not see the wisdom of quickly releasing Nnamdi Kanu as urgent as yesterday, releasing Nnamdi Kanu will not endanger the country. It is releasing Nnamdi Kanu that will actually bring peace and tranquility to the troubled southeast region. I've held several meetings with Nnamdi Kanu in his presence, and he laments that his own people that he's defending are being made by some characters to sit down at home every Monday, not to go to work. He has asked me that question again and again rhetorically. Chief, sir, how can I, who is helping my people, how can I be the person to be again punishing them by saying that they should not trade, they should not thrive in commerce and industry, which is their main area? I am not party to it. I want to come out. When I come out, I will address my people so that they will know that there's no need to kill their economy, to kill themselves. Nnamdi Kanu is non-violent. He has never used violent means to attempt attaining his goal of self-determination. So the federal government, to me, if they are wise enough, if it's wise enough, they should just let this man go and release him. That would be more productive. That will have multiplier positive effects. But his continued incarceration and detention will continue to be like a whitlow on our forefinger. And for as long as you allow the whitlow to go on, it will ache you and you will not be able to sleep. So if Nnamdi Kanu is not sleeping, the federal government itself is obviously not sleeping, because this has become no longer a national case, but an international case in which the United Nations had made interventions. The African Union, the European Union, all over the world. This case is a case. The federal government should do the needful and order the release of Nnamdi Kanu as urgent as yesterday, without even awaiting the Supreme Court decision coming up on the 14th of September 2023, without even awaiting this judge's decision coming up in July, on the 20th of July. If they do that, the federal government will gain mileages and mileages of acceptability